Hello Jeepers, this is Bolt Blaster from jeepforum.com. What I'm doing here, or what you guys actually are looking at, is is the console from my 2005 Grand Cherokee. And the mod that I'm going to be doing, basically I'm going to be changing all the lights in this console into white LEDs. I'm going to get rid of all the original the green looking color on this console and knock all these lights out and replace all of them, pretty much the upper part of the console. Also, I'm going to crank open the AC controllers and this section right here. So I'm going to replace all the light bulbs with bright white LEDs, the one that you see right here. I got this one from Radio Shack. It was around $1.50 a piece. It's not that bad. The first part, I'm going to go ahead and knock out the upper section. So for the first part, that upper part of the console, I got this one out. This one was held with four millimeter screws. You can get a 4 millimeter socket and knock this bad boy out. Okay, so to get started, you can just flip this thing to the back and just using a flathead screwdriver and just do a little bit of twisting on the sides, and that will pop the case open. So once we get the case open, we're gonna look at the circuit board. Now we can definitely peel this black plastic cover in. We definitely don't want to lose this part, because this is the part that contains the push buttons that will push down on the board. So keep an eye on this part. Definitely not a good thing to lose it. Okay, so we look at the board. We see all these light bulbs. You can see that I already knocked 2 of them out. Simply the only reason that I took this whole thing out, because 2 of these lights actually burst out. So I was like, screw it. So might as well, I'm going to go ahead and switch all of them with LEDs. And even if I was going to do the upper part, it just wasn't going to look right. Like the upper will be white and the rest will be green. So I was like, the heck with it, I'm going to go ahead and change all of them into white LEDs. Since my Jeep is actually white, the color of my Jeep is white, so I replaced them all with white. And I found out it's really simple. And actually I found out too that the lights that Chrysler put on these boards, or whoever designed these boards, they're actually not LEDs. They're really mini little light bulbs. They run at 12 volts. And they're so cheap. Even like the socket that they're in, with my experience in electronics, I've went through these sockets a lot, and they're real cheap and they come out real easy. And also I find out later when I look through the AC controllers that those are the same lights that are used in there. The only reason I'm pointing out is because the socket they sit in, after a while the socket gets separated from the solder point, and that it kind of explains why when you tap back on the AC controllers, the light sometimes come back, basically because you shake the socket and it touches back the solder point. So, talking about the mod, at this board right here, you see all these junctions, junction 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. The ones we're going to be working with, junction 12 and junction 11. Junction 12, that will be the ground, and junction 11, that will be the voltage. That's going to be the one that supplies the voltage for all these lights here. Now, these lights, they're all hooked up in parallel. The way they actually designed them, simply so that when one light goes out, the rest of them will stay on. Because if they would have hooked up in series, when this light, in my case, went out, pretty much the whole should have gone out. Okay, so anyways, the way we're going to hook them up, they're going to be hooked up in series. So we look at the first box right here. We got 2 solder points. The first point, that will be the positive one, and this is where we're going to start from, where we're going to hook everything in series, and we're going to assume that there are completely no lights here. We're going to start from the first pin, hook up the first positive pin of the LED into this one, and from this point forward, we're not going to solder anything on the board. We're going to solder the LEDs together, positive, negative, negative to positive, and so on, but we're not going to solder anything on the board. The only 2 points, we'll solder the first point, the first pin right here, and the last thing we're going to solder on the board is the negative. Now, before we solder the negative, we're going to go ahead and put in a resistor to limit the current on the LEDs that we're going to put here. Now, you're probably asking how we're going to place the LEDs if we're going to knock out these sockets. Now, in my case, I'm going to use a glue gun. I'm going to glue gun all these leads right here in their original place, and that should hold them pretty tight. And once we're done here and we route everything, we put our resistor in, we route the resistor to ground, and we're pretty much all set. And we can put this black piece back on. So also another thing is notice this information center. This one usually is not it's not illuminated. And we can definitely go ahead and throw an LED behind this one and light this bad boy up. It will kind of look cool at night. I know that, I guess. So anyways, to do that, pointing back at the junction 11 and junction 12, we can go ahead and branch out, just run 2 wires, positive and negative, somewhere to the center part of this port. And also, if you notice that this section right here is pretty much blank. There are no components or anything soldered on it, so nothing to worry about. You can position the LED right in the middle. And another thing you need to pay attention to is, even if you put the LED in the center and you place this thing all back together, the way the LED, the light, is going to hit these 2 words, part of like information or whatever the LED is at, the whole point is wherever the LED hits, the letters will be more shiny than the other part. So to help solve this, you can place in 3 or 4 white pieces of paper right here, and once the light hit the papers, it's going to equally spread the light across all the section. So this is pretty much it. I'm going to start with this section first. I'm going to hook up the light, then put it back together and take it out to my car and test it and see how it looks like. Once I'm done pretty much with all these sections, I'm going to close this and I'm going to move on to the AC controllers. So now, looking at the AC controllers, now those are brand new ones. I got them installed in my Jeep about 3-4 months ago at the dealer. After the old ones, the lights busted out on them. I guess that's the problem that everybody else has been having lately. And this is the first chance that I'm going to pop this thing open and we're going to have a close look at what kind of lights are inside this little bad boy. Okay, so here's the actual circuit. That's the whole circuit inside the AC controllers. Now you're wondering why there are only 2 knobs instead of 3. The other third one, that's the resistor pack. That one is intact into the case, so basically it just stays there. So looking at these things, now those light bulbs right here, same thing. They're cheap. They're the ones with the socket, exactly like the upper part of the console. Now, those are the cheapest thing you can ever use on a circuit board to light it up. I don't know why they didn't use LEDs, but to heck with it, that's what I'm going to be doing. So to knock these out, you can just warm up a soldering iron, and you can see you can just tap it a little bit from this side where the soldering point is, and do the same thing for the other side, and this thing should pop right out. And also there are 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe there are actually only 3 lights. 1, 2, 3. But the way they distribute the light is actually kind of tricky, because if you look at the other back of the AC controllers, they got these plastics, and that's how they transfer light, is that the light goes through all these plastic parts. So it's real nice, easy. Everything I gotta do is just change 3 lights and I will get white color light across all the AC controllers. So that's definitely gonna help me out. And the last part of the whole mod is the little this button left right here, just for disabling the ESP. And it will pretty much be exactly the same thing as the upper part. I'm gonna crank open this one next and see how it looks like.